Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Fins Faithful podcast. As always, we're live on X and on YouTube, and we're coming off a tough loss yesterday in Indianapolis. As the headline says, the Dolphins fumbled, literally away this opportunity. Two fumbles to cost them the game. Not only that, Tua Tagovailoa spoke today in his press conference. I found it fascinating how frank he was, and we're going to break all that down and what's next for the Dolphins. And to help me do that, I'm joined by the homie, a friend of the program, Kenny, better known as what? Magic City Dawn on
Magic City
Twitter.
Dawn, baby.
How you doing, brother?
Man, I don't know, man. This was a crushing blow, especially because we had it right there in our hands. But crushing blow. And like you were saying, man, like as soon as the game was done, I needed just to vent. I needed just to talk to somebody, and I texted you. I'm like, yo, man, I got things I gotta say. I gotta take it off my chest.
So let me set the scene for you guys, right? The game's over, and not maybe a second after the game, I see my phone. I get a text from Kenny. He's like, "Bro, are you available? We got to talk right now. I got to vent." So, all right, bro. So he called me. Yo, his face is red. I don't know. Now that could be from the alcohol.
Go ahead. All of the above.
But you look like somebody just died. And you just went on a diatribe of just diarrhea about this team. And for anybody who doesn't know Kenny, we haven't known each other that long, but for the little time I've known you, you're a very, very positive person, bro. You are one of the optimistic
100%.
Dolphin fans.
100%.
So this is a little bit of a therapy session for Dolphin fans. So come hang out with us. Kenny, I'm giving you the floor, bro. It's yours to vent. Get off your chest.
Man, George, you already know you got the bulk of it, man. I felt bad for you, low key, because I was going in, man. I probably didn't even let you talk as much as you should have talked. But I don't know, like you said, like I'm very positive when it comes to the Dolphins. I'm very optimistic. Obviously we didn't have Tua for these 4 weeks, and I think I was just so confused at the end of the day, because I believe in McDaniel, and all I was asking for him was to quick hitters, short routes, but just run the ball. And he finally committed to the run, and for us to to have those two fumbles, I was just so upset at the players in general. Like I understand, but just it was just so confusing because we had it right there, 10-zip, going up, feeling good, running the ball. Mostert was looking good out there. Huntley finally finding Jonnu, finally getting a touchdown to a tight end. It was looking like, hey, McDaniel took a step this week, despite everything that was happening. And, the defense was doing their thing. And even AR, unfortunately, he's not having the season that he would probably want to be having. So everything was just looking great. Like, it was hard. I think it got to a point where it was harder to lose this game, in my opinion, than to win it. And to just fumble it like that, just to fumble it in that fashion, Jason Sanders missing another. I don't remember the last time he had a clean week, like a clean game, just like not a missed field goal, a missed extra point. Like I just don't remember the last clean game he's had. So just for all that to just compile, and then McDaniel with the fullback dive again, I'm like, oh my gosh, man, just so many things that I went off. I was, you got the bulk of my rage at the point, and it just disheartened me so much, especially because I feel like it was a game that was in hand. It was in hand. It makes a big difference for us going forward as well. Now we got to go to Arizona's coming home, but then we got the Bills right after that. And like me being the negative person this week, I don't see us beating the Bills until we beat the Bills. I don't see us beating the Bills. So just to fumble this game and the fashion it happened, it really broke me down to the core. I don't know why it was. Every other week it was probably a little worse in terms of our losses, but this one just ate at me, man. So give me your thoughts, man, because that's the bulk of what I saw.
Yeah, I guess you went over a few points. I wrote down some things when I watched the game, right?
Yes, sir.
But let's start with this. Right at half, they give up those 3 points to the Colts. But what really bothered me, I guess this is my rant and my turn.
Yeah, go ahead.
What really bothered me is we come back from half on the TV, you see Waddle, Hill, McDaniel laughing it up, joking around.
I saw, yeah.
And at that point in the game, Waddle and Hill had the same amount of catches that me and you had, Kenny, 0.
Sir.
An offense, McDaniel had an offense that was still struggling to get anything in the passing game. And all they were doing is now, what were they talking about? I don't know. I don't know the contents of it, but it just sat right with me. And during that minute, I thought to myself, the Dolphins are losing this game.
That quick? You said it?
That second in my head, yes.
Okay.
Now, another issue. Jalen Wright. Why did it take to the second half for us to see Jalen Wright get in the game? Last week, yes, Mostert's return helped the running game, but I thought Jalen Wright was the reason this running game got ignited.
Yep.
Dude, his ability to one cut and run in this offense, he looks like at times the best running back on this team.
Yep.
So why? He got 5 snaps. 5. Not to mention that he was rolling, and on 4th and 1, you go with was it 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1? You go with a fullback dive again. It's like it worked a couple times a few weeks ago. That's it.
That's it. It's
Not
like
when you
with the Tyreek fade last year, that it worked the first week and then they kept doing it throughout the year.
That's a trend with Mike McDaniel.
Yep.
But he goes to it in a crucial moment. You know, if it's a second quarter and you need a yard, you want to give it to Ingold, fine. But trying to take the lead, you give it to Ingold again?
Mm-hmm.
When you have Jalen Wright, who, you didn't play as much as you needed to. Why? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, that I won't know. I don't know if anybody – I thought maybe somebody asked McDaniel today in his press conference. Nobody did. That's a question if I was in the media, I would ask. Then, Huntley, right? Yes. Huntley did leave some things in the passing game. There's things open downfield. I watched a little bit of all 22 today. Not a lot. I didn't have the time because it comes out pretty late in the day. There are routes, like there's an out route to Tyreek that's open, but like Huntley holds on to the ball too much, right?
Yeah.
But what did you expect? He doesn't have the reps. He's not the anticipatory thrower that Tua Tagovailoa is. Okay? You can't expect him to make those throws. And if you see that happening, why do you continue to call those routes that are so complicated for him to process when he's not a processor, a quick processor, or can make quick decisions or gets the ball out quick?
Yep.
You don't have Tua Tagovailoa. I don't know if anybody's told Mike McDaniel that, but it's continuously that he repeats the same mistakes. Yep. So here's an idea, Coach McDaniel. Draw up some pass concepts that are easy to get Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle the ball. Whether you look on film with the team and it looks like it was open, it's obvious your quarterback is not seeing it to get it open. So figure out something to put their hands on the football with their quick slants. I don't care if it's screens, simple concepts. Tyreek Hill is the most difficult wide receiver to guard in the NFL. For him, you know what they ended up with? 1 catch each.
Oh, man.
Tyreek Hill, 1 catch, 5 yards. 5 yards.
Ridiculous.
Jalen Waddle, 1 catch, 11 yards. And, you know, I watched McDaniel's press conference today. And, dude, it's hard for me to continue to hear this guy talk. Like, you know when you get the ick?
Yeah.
I'm starting to get the ick on Coach McDaniel.
Well, I go through his press conferences with sped up to 1.5 at this point.
Oh, my gosh. How many ums are in the middle of it?
Yeah.
Now, he's a great guy. He's a positive guy. That's all good and well. This is the NFL, man. We're not running a charity show.
Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah.
Yeah, and he calls out, and in his press conference, what I didn't like is in a roundabout way, I felt like he was kind of blaming on the quarterbacks that things are there, but they're not doing it.
Yeah.
Well, run something simple. You cannot have your two biggest weapons that are paid the most money on the offense, which your offense is built around those wide receiving weapons, and for them to have those amount of touches in the game.
Yep.
And guess what? Any way you look at it, he had picked these quarterbacks. It was his idea that Skylar Thompson and Mike White were good enough to compete for the starting quarterback position in camp. They were good enough.
Yep.
And guess what? We found the answer real quick. And then he handpicked Tyler Huntley and Tim Boyle, who low-key, Tim Boyle looks okay in this offense, actually.
In the pocket, he looks comfortable. Like at least he seems to make better decisions in the pocket rather than Huntley.
Right. He gets the ball out quicker.
He fits.
There's a certain style that you have to play in this offense.
Yeah.
It's complicated, man. It really is if you look on it on tape.
Well, yeah, Tua had mentioned that. He said like even the footwork is different to what most quarterbacks have to do around the league. You know.
Yeah.
So
yeah, the footwork. So they rehearse everything.
Yeah.
The footwork. Everything's almost like a play that it's rehearsed, and the day before the play, you take the main character out, and they don't know what to do.
Yep.
And that's an indictment on Coach McDaniel. To me, everywhere this points always points to Mike McDaniel. My opinion.
Yep.
4th and 1. The end of the game, they go for the 54-yard field goal. I know you said you didn't have a problem with that when we talked yesterday.
Yeah, I didn't have a problem with it.
The same reason why those quarterbacks are your problem are the same reasons you better go for it.
Yeah.
Because you got to try to win this game. And look at the special teams. I had no confidence, zero confidence, zero in Jason Sanders hitting that field goal yesterday. I don't know about you.
No, I don't know, but I didn't have. If you told me, Kenny, you better put money on this kick right now, I'm staying away from it. I'm not touching it with a 10-foot pole. The reason I was okay with it is because I would rather just turn over the ball, just trying for 3 points, than like just having a mistake again or not converting that 4th or 3rd and 1 situation that's been going on the whole year. So especially in the moment before, obviously we knew, he missed the field goal. But in the moment before, I was like, hey, look, you know what? I respect his decision because at the end of the day, we're usually not getting those, crucial 3rd and 1s, 4th and 1s. Let's just take the field goal. We got the range. Let's see what happens. Unfortunately, Jason Sanders missed it, and I was pissed off. I was probably even questioning that decision after he missed it, But at the end of the day, at that time, I was okay with the decision. Obviously, hindsight is 20/20. But yeah, just like another blunder with this team, just not disciplined, not doing their assignments, just in general. And Julian Hill, I don't think I've ever like every single time I see him on the screen is because there's a flag thrown. Julian Hill.
Nobody gets benched on this team. Nobody. What was it? Durham Smythe? And then we put in Julian Hill.
Yeah.
Who now he can't get benched.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing that happens is in a roundabout way, Mike McDaniel calls out the quarterbacks today and kind of he doesn't take full accountability. He blames they're there. The plays are there. Well, dude, if your quarterback's not making them, find something else.
No, McDaniel, man, he's being stubborn. He's being stubborn in his own ways.
I'm I tend not to try not to overreact, right? After because the season goes in waves, man. The season there's trends, and you can start 2-4, and you could start one in like the Packers last year. Yeah, I believe they started like 1-4, something like that, and they made the playoffs. The season's long, right? It has trends. It has its ebb and flows. And I will say this, right? I know, Kenny, you're an optimistic guy. I would say more in the middle I lean more toward the negative.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time we had a show, right? It was headlined Selling Hope.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to sell you a little hope, all right? Ironically, I'm going to sell you a little bit.
Talk to me.
A little bit, right? I'm going to walk you off the ledge just a little bit. We said this offense for how bad it is that it seems to suit only one player in particular. Only one quarterback can run it. The weapons, the play calling, everything for one player only, it seems like. He's coming back, right?
Yes, sir.
And they got I expect him to come back this week, and we'll talk about Tua's press conference. I expect him to come back this week and put on a good performance, right? Put on, he's got a favorable matchup versus the Cardinals. The Cardinals are 2-4. They're playing tonight, right? So they're going to have a short week, flying all the way from the West Coast down here to Miami for the Sunday game.
Yes, sir.
Their defense is a mess. So I expect Tua to put up good numbers. I expect the offense to look good, right? Don't get me wrong. And then you have the Buffalo game, which until they beat Buffalo. Now, if he comes back, they beat Arizona, then they beat Buffalo?
We're back. We're back.
We're going somewhere here, right?
Yeah.
But what I think is going to happen, they'll beat the Cardinals, they'll lose to Buffalo, then they got some easy games. Let me look at the schedule.
Like a 3-game stretch.
Yeah, let me get the schedule.
Raiders. It's Raiders. I want to say Jets, and it's something else.
Yeah, they got after the Bills, the Rams, Raiders, Patriots.
Yep.
And then you got ready for that Thanksgiving cold game at Lambeau.
Time too.
Yeah. So they can set up here if they can win at the Cardinals. Against the Cardinals. Let's say they lose to Buffalo, and they got 3 kind of Rams, Dolphins, Rams, Raiders, Patriots, all winnable games. This offense is going to look better. I mean, unfortunately, it's with how the defense is playing. You plug Tua back in this offense, there's still holes, but they can beat those like Colts and Patriots, Raiders teams with Tua. It's the tough teams that I think where the deficiencies on this roster will show, but they won't struggle like they struggle against the Colts and like they struggled against Tennessee with Tua, because everything seems to work when he's back. And thank you, Larry Shade, 6. Shout out to him, UK 97. Tua has to stay healthy, and the defense need to stop giving the games. He makes an interesting point. I'm not gonna
say
right on the defense.
Yeah.
But sometimes, bro, you got to shut them down where it's only give up 10 points. Only give up a touchdown. But I'm not gonna go too much on the defense. I guess. What did you think of the defensive performance? Is there anything? They did give up 155 yards rushing.
Yeah.
Again, the run defense and cough, Chop Robinson.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw Chop Robinson get sealed by Michael Pittman Jr. on a long
my gosh,
to the outside from Trey Sermon.
Hey, man, he's a one-trick pony still.
Pittman Jr. He had some nice pass rush. He had some nice pressures, as always. He also had that. You remember that one play in the backfield where he had the guy for a tackle for loss?
Yeah, and he missed.
Let him go.
Yeah.
Again, almost the same thing in college. So what did you think about the defense? Anything you want to poke holes?
Not necessarily. I mean, it's the same things. Also, like the edge right now is beat up as well. Like I hate to beat up on Chop as well, because I know, is it his fault we chose him that high, in that position as well? It's not his fault. Unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with at the moment, and we got to point out his flaws as well, because we are in a window that we're supposed to be winning now. Same thing, like stout, usually stout, or at least they'll bend and not break. It's just the chunk plays, like especially on the ground, we'll give up like those 20-yard runs, and towards the end of the game was kind of demoralizing as well, because until they got to the red zone, they were just doing whatever they wanted. But I mean, can you really, like, I'm happy with the defense. I really hate to say anything, especially looking how the edge room is right now. Without Ogba out there, I thought they looked good for what it is. Like I knew going into it, especially when the Ogba news came out, that we're gonna give up some runs. That we're probably not gonna set the edge well. And I thought they looked good pass rush. I didn't really notice it too much, but then again, like AR wasn't accurate yesterday either. So I kind of that probably played into our favor.
Oh yeah.
So I think defense. I'm not gonna. Calais Campbell and Sealer keep being one of my favorite players, and Jalen Ramsey was, of course, and I love how they used him yesterday too. He was all over the place yesterday. So I think the defense was great, man. Like great. Like they did their job at the end of the day. We should have won that game, and it definitely wasn't the defense's fault by any means.
Yo,
So
shout out to Larry in the chat, bro. Keeping it alive there. Thank you for sending your questions, guys. I love any questions. Feel free to send them in. We love answering them on air. And take a second here, guys. Please help support the channel, guys. Hit the like, smash that little bell, the subscribe button. I think that's what it is. Help support the channel. We continue to try to get you these great guests on and all the Dolphin content, and it's much, much appreciated. If you like what we're doing here, help support it.
Yes.
All right. So, Larry, question is, where do you think OBJ fit in the offense since Braxton is out for the season? Yeah, Braxton had that injury on the return. Looks like it's an ACL. I've been disappointed with OBJ, man.
100%. I think in the first show I mentioned is Jackson Berry is just a returner at this point.
He just maybe when Tua comes back, they'll have the chemistry. He looks rusty, so maybe let's give him some time. Maybe we don't know how significant that knee injury was. Maybe he just needs a few more games. But I saw a lot more Malik Washington yesterday. I think he's the guy they plan on kind of implementing more on the offense. What are your thoughts on the third wide receiver position in Braxton Berrios' injury?
So I think Malik Washington is the direct replacement for Braxton Berrios, especially on special teams, just because he's a good returner for what we've seen so far. And I think they practiced him a lot in training camp as him as a returner and being that player. I think OBJ I think his potential in his offense is actually really good, you know, like especially being that third receiver, actually having somebody that could make the throws and they're on time. I think he's going to have a great season. I think he's going to accumulate those yards. Obviously, we see what this offense is without Tua in terms of the wide receiver position, you know. So as soon as we get him back in, he's another weapon, man. Like he looked good. He was open a few times as well. But it's all about the timing, trying to get everything to be on time and just being open. And our Snoop Boyle's been doing a little bit better, but yeah, Snoop hasn't been able to fit it in those windows, except for Jonu. He found Jonu in all those passing times.
Yeah, going back, a point I just thought of that I had when back to the Colts game. Let's not forget we caught some breaks versus Jacksonville. If Holland, who made a great play, that's what great players do. I don't want to take any credit away from him. We ended up coming back and winning that game. But if he doesn't force that fumble, that loss to a Jacksonville team who now we know is probably the worst team in the league among them.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to New England, where Brissett misses, a wide open Jalen Polk in the back of the end zone. He catches it high. No, everybody talks about the toe in, that he had the toe in. Then it was the whole, does the toe in, is it enough? The heel, the whole controversy about that, which it looked like a catch. But Brissett threw it high. Polk was wide open.
Yeah,
we got a break on that.
Mm-hmm.
This game, things tend to even out during the season. In this game, we made mistakes. And it kind of even out. We're fortunate to be 2-4. As crazy as that sounds. We're fortunate to be 2-4. That came to my head. I wanted to kind of
it's a great point. Like, but that's why football is an amazing sport, because it's a game of inches, So all it takes is somebody to make a play, and we threw away that game. We threw away the Colts game, unfortunately, man.
Yeah, we gotta. You want to take this question, Kenny?
All right. Do you think Tua is coming back? Coach McDaniel going to open up the playbook? Yeah, the playbook's wide open as soon as Tua comes back. I really hope we still kind of lean on that run game, like how you're saying with Jalen Wright, man. Like every time he touches the ball, oh my gosh, when he had that cutback,
beautiful.
It was beautiful, like the whole line just moving, but he just cuts it back beautifully and he just takes it up for like 15 yards. I really hope they keep running the ball, and because when you run the ball, the whole playbook is open for Tua. So we could run whatever we want, whatever we're used to, with those deep cutting routes with Tyreek, Waddle. OBJ is going to be open in the middle or on the slot as well. And hopefully they keep using the seams with Jonnu Smith, man, because I think he probably started off slow, but these last couple of weeks he's really shown his potential in his offense as well. I think it's wide open. And hopefully we start seeing any new wrinkles from last year as well with Tua. And I think we also have to take into account, like me personally, I think I'm also a little afraid of, is Tua going to be in midseason form or is he going to shake off some rust, because it's live action, man. It's live bullets. So what's it going to look like? Even though Arizona's defense isn't that good, but something to consider.
Shout out to the boy Bobby Schultz from the Dive Bar podcast.
Shout out.
Yeah, Jonah is that dude. Yeah, man. He is. But I got something for you, Bobby. We're talking about Larry had the last question. He said, talking about, is the playbook going to open up? Bro, I think the Jonnu stuff is just because it's wide open. Like they're leaving the middle of the field open, and I think it's going to be less Jonnu when Tua comes back. And I think the playbook is going to be the same as it was when you saw it before. As I mentioned, things are still open, right? Yeah. It's just they don't have the quarterback to kind of process and read and anticipate the throws and make those throws and kind of see the field like Tua Tagovailoa. So those things are still going to be open. I think the biggest question is, are they going to continue this running attack when Tua comes back? Yeah. So for me, it's not, are they going to open up the playbook? Are they going to throw a little bit less when he comes back and lean on this running game that is clear they can run the football when he comes back? Do you see that as a concern as well?
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why I was so pissed this time around as well with this game. That's why I needed to call you, because I was like, man, this is what we could look like with the, stout running game, committing to it, and for Mostert to fumble, who's like a leader in this team, Ingold as well to fumble it, to cough it up, especially being on their side of the field or in good field position. It was just so crushing. So I really hope that this doesn't deter McDaniel from the run game. I hope he really sticks to it, because Tua, man, if you give Tua a running game, that's only going to help him as much, and it's going to help the O-line at the end of the day. Doesn't put as much pressure, dropping back 40 times, 50 times. So I genuinely hope that he commits to it. I know he gets scared of it, just like Jalen Wright. He just doesn't stick to what's working at the moment, even if it's something as simple as just keep committing to the run, sticking with Wright, sticking with the hot hand. He just seems to not commit to it. So, I mean, we'll see. I hope he does, because McDaniel himself, from his own words, he said that this is the identity of the team. Committing to the run. Being, just like running the ball. So I think if he said that, it has to apply with Tua as well. So yeah, let's see.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest question, especially because I like, in this whole adversity we've had in the beginning of the season, I like that, like, he almost ran it too much last game. You got to get something out of the passing game. But, I kind of like that McDaniel realized you got to run the football in this league. And especially, dude, when we're going up in Thanksgiving in Green Bay, our only shot is to be physical with them, run the football. I mean, I know we're getting ahead of ourselves, but that's our only shot. If we try to go and be this wide open, throw the ball all around in that cold weather, dude, we're going to get walked off the field, again.
Same thing with Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah. I mean, the Browns game looks better now, right? Oh, bro, Deshaun Watson, Achilles, he's out for the year. Boy, did we dodge a bullet with that.
I guess so. But, hey, I mean, Deshaun wasn't too hot out here, too. So, let's see what they look like. I think Chubb is coming back, though, so it's not all sunshine and rainbows yet.
Larry also asked a question. He is hesitant in the play calling. That's all he's worried about is the run game. I don't know if he means they were too kind of focused on the run game. Is that how you interpret the question, Kenny?
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. Maybe
he's hesitant. He's hesitant. Yeah. He was hesitant to throw passing plays for the quarterback because it wasn't working.
Yep.
But again, then he still is running these complex routes. So it's I don't know what to tell McDaniel, man. He's so frustrating, man.
It really is. It really is, man.
Dude, I almost feel like the more they have him, bro, I'm going to wait to see what Tua gets back and But the more I think they're wasting time with him, man. I know I don't want to pull the plug on the coach too soon. You know how I feel about Greer. That's already out the window.
Yeah.
I'm done with Chris Greer. I've been done with Chris Greer for 5 years.
Yeah.
I've been done with Greer since the minute they announced he was taking over.
He's promoted.
Promoted for Tannenbaum. Now, I've been done with. I knew what that dude is. I knew what he was. I know what he's about. I know how he builds rosters, and all he does is build for the current coach. So he has now to go to Mr. Ross and say, "Hey, man, I gave my coach what they wanted." I don't even know what a Chris Greer team really looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What he wants his team, because it changes with every coach. Like, you look at you knew what the Lions wanted, right? When the Lions started to rebuild, line of scrimmage, physicality, the guy we should have drafted, Penny Sewell.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I don't know what Chris Greer's direction is. I don't know what kind of team he wants.
Yeah,
it's frustrating.
100%.
I can go on about McDaniel, bro. And
look, is he flawed? Yes. Am I ready to pull the plug? Well, also, man, though,
another one. Good job, Larry. Another one.
Well, that's a great point, because killing those timeouts, especially you saw it in that last drive, like our last hope, and we have to spike the ball on a 3rd and 2, and then we got to spike it. It's 4th and 2, and that's it. We got to run the last play of the game, essentially, with 11 seconds left. So, is he flawed? Yes. Am I giving up on McDaniel? No, not yet. He has his issues. I just don't feel like it's, especially right now, I just don't feel like there's a better option out there. And I still believe in the process, man, because he's still a rookie head coach. His first head coaching job, so he's gonna have his issues coming in. Same thing that B-Flow had, not really collaborating with his staff. They gotta learn the ropes as well, being a head coach. So we'll see. He has his issues 100%. I'm not defending any of his flaws. It took him this long to figure out that you got to run the ball, and even then, he probably ran the ball a little too much. So
and dude, I don't know if he's gonna. You watch when Tua comes back.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're gonna not run enough. It seems like now wants to run without Tua too much, and then or when Tua comes back, he doesn't run enough. Like, he doesn't have a feel in his play calling.
Yeah,
what I see is a good play designer.
Yes, sir. Yes.
I don't see a good play caller, and right now I don't see a really good head coach.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're asking me my opinion.
Yeah. No, it's valid.
And remember, I don't know if I told you, I said these 4 games or however long Tua was going to be out was going to be a real good test for me to kind of see who Mike McDaniel is. And he failed the test, bro. And he got exposed. His inability, another thing, to be flexible, to change, to adapt. He didn't show it. He didn't show the offensive genius or creativity that he was labeled. This was his opportunity. Anyways,
100%. You gotta be able to adjust your whole game plan. During the game, you gotta feel the game, especially when your QB1 isn't out there. So that was one of the tests, and he failed it again, because technically last season he failed it as well. So he's got to learn from it, man. He's got to learn from it and be better at the end of the day.
Larry said that we really think they need to hire a OC.
We have an OC.
Yeah, Frank Smith. I guess he means more and somebody who's going to call the plays.
Yeah,
actually.
I agree.
But if you're taking that away from him, wasn't that the whole point you brought him here?
Yeah, it's an indictment on Coach McDaniel.
That's supposed to be his biggest strength.
Yeah.
To me, that's the beginning of the end. If you're doing that,
the thing that I always
just get rid of him.
Yeah, the one thing I will say always confused me, especially that first and second year, is he was the run game coordinator for San Fran, and the running game was never committed to it. And I thought that's why I was really excited about the hire. I was like, I thought he was going to be, committed to the run, and we're running the ball, outside zone.
Go ahead.
Didn't really commit to it, and I was surprised by that.
And we're running the ball. It's probably his best, and we run the ball effective under him. It's probably the best thing he does.
Yeah,
it's really the best thing he does. I think he got carried away with this whole prove Tua's right, get Tua the stats.
Oh my gosh, I think so. Yeah,
get over that, man. Get over that. You want to keep Tua healthy, or have any chance of that, and you want to win football games in December, January, and February, hopefully, design that running game and mix in those plays that you have that Tua and the timing with Waddle and Hill that are those big plays that are so fantastic. Mix that in, but start with the running game.
I mean, Jordan, what do you think he would have done this game with this running game?
You wouldn't have ran that much.
But let's hypothetically, if Tua was in the pocket with this running game, that game, he eats, man. He'll eat.
Oh, he'll eat. Yeah, no. With the running game, Tua will pick that. We would have put up 35, 42 points against the Colts. 100%. Now, Tua coming back doesn't fix everything, though, dude. There is problems on this roster. And they'll show. Like I said, they're going to show against the really good teams.
Yes, sir.
He's not even call. And then another question from Larry Killen in the chat. He's not even calling plays for Hill.
He isn't.
No, yeah. Like I said, all right. If you watch the film,
he's open.
He gets open. I mean, what was that one play though when he was that the one deep ball they did throw to him? He couldn't find the ball.
Yeah, he didn't locate the ball. It was a weird play. I thought it was like a broken play.
Come on. But yeah, the plays are there, right? I think the question is, this offense is so rehearsed with Tua. Skyler and Huntley, they can't see the field like Tua does, right? They can't get the ball out quick and anticipate where the receiver is going to go like Tua can. So, like I said, he's had to change more on the pass concepts to get this offense,
simplify.
Let Hill and Waddle feel the football. Like I said, if it's a screen, quick, anything, with the running game, this play's still going to be made. I mean, like you said, like we all said, though, the backup quarterback position, again, another issue is, that's a Chris Greer issue and also Mike McDaniel issue. So,
100%.
Yeah. So to answer your question, Larry, yeah, they were calling plays. But I just think the quarterbacks can't see them, I guess, like Tua can, right? And so that's why when Tua does come back, I think it's going to pick up at least the passing game, kind of where they left off. But even though those first two games, Kenny, then there's a bigger question, right?
Yeah.
Are they figured out? That's the bigger question, right?
And it sure looks like it. It sure and it's usually the Bills that expose us. It's usually the Bills that expose us and give out the game plan.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's more of the issue there. Come on, what he said. The prep basically is Tyreek Hill's used as a decoy. Right. Yeah, I heard what he said. He was basically saying that what some of the routes, it was his best game as far as like some of the things he did, route running or running routes, but it doesn't show up in the box score.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. It needs to show up in the box score. Hold up, we got a special breaking news. I don't got a little bell, but we have a special guest hopping on. The boy from the Dive Bar podcast, Bobby Shaw's in the house, brother.
What's good? How y'all doing?
Doing good. Can't complain.
Bobby, Kenny, Bobby.
How's it going, brother? How's everything?
It's good, man. I was gonna jump on earlier, but I got home and my father-in-law was changing the brakes on my wife's car, so I couldn't be a full loser and just go. I gotta go. So.
I got a podcast to do. Sorry.
Yeah, I didn't want to be in the doghouse, especially with myself having a couple of shows this week. So,
yeah.
I had to earn some brownie points.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
So you ready for this? Join this therapy session, bro? Because it seems like Dolphins Twitter is exploding right now. I told you. Did you hear what happened with Kenny? Dude, Kenny calls me texts me right after the game, bro. I have to talk, bro. I gotta talk.
Dude, man, it was bad, man. It was bad, man.
Anyways,
but it was just frustrating at the end of the day, man. Like we had it there. Game plan was good enough to win it, and just to have the players kind of, have those blunders as well. It's just that whole combination of things.
Yeah.
Whole combination of things.
Before we're gonna talk about Tua's press conference, where that boy was clean. He told you like it is.
Yeah. He was pissed.
Before we get to that, give me your thoughts, I guess, Bobby, on the game quickly on the Colts game.
Yeah, I mean, it was like he said, it was a letdown because it was everything we wanted to see. You know, we come out playing great defense, playing complimentary football. We're running the ball like 115 yards in the first half of our 180 were rushing yards. Everything looked great. And then it was just the boneheaded mistakes. And man, we really did just give it away.
We gave it away. Away.
Dude, and I told him, dude, when they came back at halftime and McDaniel was laughing it up with Hill and Waddle, I said, bro, they're losing this game, bro. They're losing this game. I'm like, what are they laughing about, bro? We had the same amount of catches on this panel as Hill and Waddle at that time of the game. 0, you know? I mean, does McDaniels, is that starting to get old now, bro? He's so positive, the laid-back personality, kind of, you know, the ultimate players coach. What almost seems like the players run the team. Is that getting old or rubbing you the wrong way, Bobby, or are you good with it? You good with McDaniel?
I mean, none of that stuff's cool when you're losing. It doesn't like.
Yeah. I know that's your boy.
Even if he was standing over there pissed off, it wouldn't be cool. So like, there's nothing you can really do. I think another thing, I'm indifferent about the whole laughing thing because I just told you. At that same time, I was thrilled with the game plan. So it's like, you can look back on that and be like, what the hell what's so funny? Like y'all are, 2-5, 2-4. But like at that time, there was a lot to be excited about. And then even the fact that Tyreek and Waddle were willing to joke at the time, knowing they wasn't really getting a big part of the game plan or whatever. That's kind of a good sign to me too, because it's like they took a back seat knowing this is what we got to do to just try to survive right now. This is what it is. Next week, Tua comes back. So it's like, I can't kill him too much. Looking back on it now, it looks awful. But at the time, I mean, there was a lot to be excited about. So it goes both ways.
That's right.
Yeah. Dude, I didn't even like it's for me, it's hard to even listen to his press conferences anymore, bro. I mean, I know other people have different views on him. But I'm just kind of over it, man. Like, this was a test for me, Bobby. Like, I said, these 4 games that Tua was out, or however long he was going to be out, was a test to me, bro. And like, you see the film. I watched a little All-22 today. Like I was telling Kenny, they're open, bro. Like, there's some routes Tyreek's breaking. If Huntley's got to get rid of it quick. He's holding on to the ball too long. But what do you expect, dude? He doesn't have the chemistry of reps. He's not Tua. He can't anticipate where a guy's going to be in this offense. He can't see the field. Dude, run some pass concepts that are simple. Just let Waddle and Hill feel the leather. If it's a quick slant, something. Dude, you can't have the running was great, but it was even almost too much. And then Jalen Wright rolling in the second half. Bro, why is it taking you to the second half to get Jalen Wright in the game?
That was after the Mostert fumble, I think, too, right?
Yep. Yeah, it took a disaster.
Yeah, it took something like.
And like I told at the top of the show, like I said, we caught breaks against the Jags and against Patriots. With the fumble Javon Holland did, and then the whole toe heel thing in the end zone against the Patriots. Things tend to even out, Bobby, over a season. And we fumbled the ball literally this time, and it cost us the game. It was the difference because they pretty much played 16-10, 13-16, kind of the same stuff these last 3 or 4 games. We just turned the ball over. I mean, is that how you see it?
Yeah, I think the frustrating part, too, is it came from 2 of our most reliable veteran players. Like, the last thing I would have thought is Mostert and Ingle were going to fumble back-to-back. It's like it might just be what's in the cards for us this year.
Man, it was just so unfortunate. Yeah, man, so unfortunate, especially because it's the leaders of the team. And it was just like it was a dominant drive as well. Like, it was like we were driving on both sides. The Ingle one was just frustrating because I think it was on like the 15. So to go from having points to a whole turnover, man, it was just so crushing right there.
Wow. Yeah, Larry. Draft a quarterback, not backup, bro. Not sign a veteran free agent. I don't even know who's out there, but draft a young kid in the system. You guys agree with that? Draft one instead of signing one of these guys that are going to be out there?
I agree.
Financially, but I don't think we're gonna have much choice there.
Yeah.
If you want a true like talented player, I think you have to go the draft route.
Yeah, I agree. They weren't the only one, huh? they hit the joint in the front office. All right. So let's get into the press conference today. Man, I was fascinated by it. I every time he talked, I thought of you because you told me, Bobby, you're like, bro, this guy was ready to go right after. He felt he was healthy. This is not like the other concussions.
Well,
like,
you could tell the aura was just different as soon as he walked onto the stage. It was just a different tool. Like he was just pissed the whole time.
He was pissed. Yeah, he was salty. He was salty as hell.
Oh, salty to her, angry to her, like almost on the defensive, bro. Like, I don't want to be here, man. I don't want to be talking about this. Because in his head, I've been throwing the ball for 5 weeks. I've been ready to go. You guys are just like catching up late to this. And what really showed is he doesn't like being the face of this whole concussion thing. All right. He doesn't want to be remembered by that. But what was this quote like to the fans? I appreciate the sport, but I'm gonna die doing this thing. Like I love it to the death, right? I mean, he probably shouldn't have used those words, but bottom line is,
as a football guy, look, I get it. It's not like the politically correct thing to say, and out of context, it sounds really bad considering some of the outcomes or possibilities with these injuries. But as a football guy, I'm not gonna lie. I immediately posted that clip to Twitter because I'm not gonna lie, it got me fired up as a football guy. And that's reality is you can be concerned about him all you want. He's saying it. He's telling you. He's a grown man. He's making the choice. He knows what he's signing up for. He's made that clear as day. He don't want pity. So why have it? On the other hand, he's hyped about being back out there. He's motivated to be back out there. That's exactly what you want to hear as a Dolphins fan. So
I enjoyed his energy. I thought I was pumped because I was like, hey, look, as much as I love smiling Tua and everything like that, I feel like Tua is locked in. I think that's the energy they gave me. Like, hey, look, man, I want to live up to the contract that I signed. I know that this team relies on me. So his energy was phenomenal today. I know some people were kind of spooked out by it, but I was like, nah, man, like it was. I thought it was cool, like, from a leader, from Tua to come out and be like, hey, look, I'm pissed, and everybody knows. I want everybody to know that I'm pissed about all this that went down.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was misunderstood a lot.
Yeah.
I think it was kind of like.
I think it caught people off guard, right?
Well, I think he was kind of like he wasn't buying into the media. He didn't really want to do that, but he was also, as a fan, it was giving me off like I loved it. I thought it was like this dude's locked in. He don't want pity. He knows what he signed up for. He's not concerned about his health. He thinks he's good. I'm good. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm good. It's a clear message, guys. If I get another concussion and I'm okay, don't talk about it. I'm playing. You know what I mean?
It's all optics, though. It's so crazy how the optics work with Tua only.
No. Wait, hold on. And hey, let's not lie. Come out with the double sleeve. Was that the double sleeve debut?
Yeah, it was.
With the cutoff, Tua's looking ripped, huh?
Yeah, it looks good, man. He looks great, man. Like I'm telling you, like the aura that came out of it, I appreciate it a lot, man, because he knows. Like I'm a passionate person, so when I see somebody else being passionate, especially for my team, like it gets me hyped, man. Like I'm hyped as hell. I'm pissed off for him too. I wish he could have played sooner. I wish this never would have happened because I know the potential what this team could be with him. Whether we have our flaws, yes, we do, but we're a lot better when Tua is out there, when QB1's out there. So I love it.
And all seriousness, do you think? I mean, he did acknowledge that. Oh, okay, yes, the organization was protecting me from myself. Do you think that was just the PR, Bobby, the right thing to say, or you think he truly means that? Okay.
He might mean it, but it doesn't mean that he didn't wake up the next day, like he said, and feel fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that as a competitor, he thought he was just going to go through protocol like everyone else, which is what he should have done. You can't clear protocol if you're not cleared. I mean, it's not like you're saving him from something he wouldn't clear. Like I touched on it the first time I was on here.
Yeah.
When he had the multiple concussions his first time doing this, after the Packers game, he had side effects for a while. Like it truly did bother him. Like he didn't it dragged out. So for him to say that this time, he understood the difference and he realized the difference, and he didn't think he needed to be treated the same way. And I think his body language showed that. He kind of paused there for a second too when he was answering it. It was like, what do I think? He's like, well, I think the team had it in their best interest for me. But that basically tells you that that's their perspective, not his.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So so going forward, do you kind of think that, let's say you got, another one happens, I mean, and he feels fine, do you think the Dolphins are going to handle it differently, or it's going to be the same? Because it could create a little. You could tell there's tension there from it. I mean, anybody could tell, right? So I wonder if this changed how maybe the Dolphins will handle it, right?
Yeah, I don't know about that clearly because, I mean, they took it into their own hands this time. I don't see them getting any more lenient with more concussions. So I don't really know. Maybe that's something they talked about. Maybe that's some conversations they've had. But they clearly worry about the optics of this whole concussion situation
100%.
and how they look about it. So I don't know. I feel like they kind of are trying to play the well, we did what we could kind of card.
Well, I mean, you can't blame him. Yeah, Tua even mention, like, for what happened 2 years ago, this is why all this stuff's going down. He admitted that in the press conference. He said, no, they don't talk about this in boxing and hockey. And hockey, guys, I don't know if you guys watch hockey, but they get concussed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
How many concussions does Sidney Crosby have? And look at his career. He's been playing a long time. So he does make a good point. Like, why is it just me? And the Dolphins, I guess maybe he wanted the Dolphins maybe to kind of take their own stand, and it's supposed to be hard for him watching this team play like they are. I understand his frustration, to be honest, but I guess to wrap that up, I was just surprised kind of how like open and honest he was about it, right? Like I thought he'd be more cautious or kind of take more of the safe route, but he was like,
I just thought it was cool because I went from watching like McDaniel's presser, like I watched it at 1.5. I watched it at 1.5.
I couldn't watch the McDaniel presser more than 5 minutes. When
it was just funny going from that to like Tua coming out like pissed and everything. So it got me hyped. I was like, okay, all right, like we got a pulse out here.
The Tua.
Yeah, another thing to think about is like he's been sitting there for 4 weeks hearing things, and he's not on Twitter and stuff, reading all that stuff, but like. Ann Nolan briefed him before the press conference and probably threw so many things at him. Be prepared for this. Be prepared for that. So he's already on the defense. Because he really isn't on social media. So Ann Nolan kind of tells him, hey, look, this is what's kind of out there right now. This is what you might hear about. Yeah. So, he's hearing all this and he's prepared to hear all these like question marks. You get paid and you're injured again. You just never know what you're going to hear. So he clearly came out there like, I'm shutting it all down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that, like you told me, that's legit. Like Tua doesn't do the social. What he gets is from Ann Nolan, the PR, right? So and it's probably the best. And like you said, it was vent up 4 weeks, hearing stuff, and you're every day like, I'm fine, bro. Like, let's play. You know what I mean? Like Tua probably wanted to play that next week. So yeah, and as far as the McDaniel presser, I had to stop. After 5 minutes, I know I'm going hard on Coach McDaniel, right? But I had to stop, Bobby, after about 5 minutes when he's indirectly not taking accountability and saying kind of like it's the quarterback's fault. They haven't played well. Things were there, but he doesn't mention the fact that he doesn't call more friendly routes for them, or he still calls the same stuff that Tua was out there. He won't mention that, or he won't bench anybody or call out the tight end coach or the tight end position. No, none of those things are being called out publicly. I just thought it just didn't taste right with me, man. I don't know. I don't know if any of you guys.
I haven't watched I don't know what you want to call it. The way he talks got old. It was cool as hell and like clip worthy the first 6 months he came here. All the clips and of his press conferences and stuff, and now it's just like it's hard to watch him when we're winning or not winning. It has like even last year, it was like we were doing awesome, and it was like I'll read the quotes on Twitter.
Yeah, 100%.
How many does he do? It's because he don't know what it's like. He's got to gather his thoughts in the middle of it.
Man, that's why I speed it up. That's why I speed it up to get through it.
Yeah, well, he just like talks in like a poet. Like he always tries to make it something. It's like. Just say yes or no. It's okay to say yes or no sometimes. And he wants to make it like a story, a rhyme. It's like we don't need that all the time. We don't always need to like.
He's talking in circles, man. It's like when you write a sentence, it doesn't make sense. You're putting too many. It just didn't make sense.
He's trying to come up with something at the moment.
And he won't call anybody out publicly, which I guess is okay. But who knows what he does behind the scenes? I got to be fair. I'm not there. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. But everybody says he's got to get a little tougher. I don't think he can really change. It's who he's built. It's how he's built that locker room. It's how he's kind of built. It's like asking Flo to change. I don't know if Coach McDaniel, is going to go up and try to be more disciplined, like, and more tough on the players. Like, they might look at him with a side eye. I just don't know if he can do it, Bobby, or Kenny. I'll start with you, Bobby. And then Kenny, you can jump on that.
You can go ahead, Kenny.
I mean, I think what I enjoy about McDaniel is he's unapologetically himself, So like, so I think Flo had his flaws too, man. We weren't like line of scrimmage tough with like Flo either, Like we also had our issues in the trenches. If it wasn't for sending the house on defense for most plays, sending that blitz, we really didn't get pressure and like sending 4, So, and during those tough games, end of the year, December, it wasn't too different. Does McDaniel need to go harder, like be a harder person, a harder coach? No, I just think that's the style of coaching he is. I got tired of Flo's pressers when we were losing, when we were 1-7.
Me too.
I went to that game. I got tired of listening to Flo, and I went to the Baltimore 1-7 game. We won, and I was on a high. But I was getting tired of Flo. I got tired of Gase. At the end of the day, and we're losing now. And McDaniel doesn't have the prettiest pressers either, the way he talks. So I'm kind of like on a tangent, but McDaniel. Does he want to change? No, I don't think so. Like, I think he's got to be himself. Why would he be somebody he's not at the end of the day? He's got to fix things up, though. He's got to find a way to these illegal formations, false starts. Man, Julian Hill's got to take like a whole half off. You got to do something about, disciplining players in his own way. However he chooses to do it, people will respond to it. How any of us would like to respond to an authentic person when they're asking us to do something. So that's my opinion. I don't think he has to be harder, quote unquote, but I think he has to definitely adjust things and make something work of it. Let me know, Bobby.
No, yeah. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, he probably is not, like you said, he's unapologetically himself. I don't think he's going to change. And I'll touch on what you said, George. I think it's more important that he gets on their ass behind closed doors than he goes out and embarrasses somebody to the media. Because, like, what does that really – that doesn't benefit – that's never benefited anybody. I mean, he could have chewed ass 24 hours ago, plenty up and down, upside down. We don't know. It doesn't really pay for him to come out again days later, cooled down, and start trashing people and publicly, So, like, I've been told that he does behind closed doors. We've all heard it. Players say that, he's tough. You might see the quirky, nerdy guy. I mean, that's like straight from Tyreek's mouth. Like, but behind closed door, he's cussing. He's on their ass. He's telling them we need more, we need better. But I mean, that doesn't mean his hard days are like a Brian Flores or I don't know. I don't know the difference. I'm not out there like as a player. So, but I think it really just comes down to execution. So like, none of this really is a conversation if things are being executed. If he's calling the right plays and if he's doing the right things, I don't think we care like if he's laughing on the sidelines or if he's quirky instead of a bully. I don't think that matters. If we lined up and ran the ball straight down people's mouth, you would care nothing about this dude's a nerd.
Yeah.
No one would. You just like, damn, this is the offensive mastermind. He does what he wants. But
and that's how the first year was.
Right. Yeah. So and all that shit's sweet. It's cool. It's like all that, but now we're losing, and that's really what it comes down to. We're losing. It's not fun. Nothing's been great, and of course that's so. Why is he wearing those socks like that? Everything pisses you off. So, and it's not that it's not right. It's not that it's like not valid. It's valid.
Yeah.
I mean, you're 2-4 with this roster. That's the problem. But it's just you got to take. It goes both ways.
Yeah. I always hear that. This is a question. Maybe I'm crazy, right? I always hear he's authentically himself. I don't find it very authentic to me. I think it's always kind of like I found it as like a little bit of like a skit. Like I never found him funny. I don't know about you guys. Did you? The one-liners I never found funny. Maybe it's just me, right? Like I have dry humor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't find him authentic, right? Like in the beginning, yes, but it wore off real quickly. I don't know. I just a thought I have as you guys kept saying that authentically himself. I mean, I guess it's to everybody's point of view, but for me, I guess I didn't find him as authentic.
I'm just going off of what previous players, coaches, and everybody have said about him. Like he's a funny guy, like quirky, like probably not what you're used to.
He's all those things. Yeah,
but he's consistent, is what everybody says with his
right.
Yeah, I think if you're going off like, yeah, what's he gonna do? Start yelling and walking around the building with his chest out? No, he is who he is. So like that's what Kenny's saying. I definitely understand what you mean. Like you can't just like start yelling and think you're going to change your perspective. You are who you are. It's like,
right. I guess I'm not talking about. I don't expect him to go yell and stuff like that. I guess more of the act that he puts on in front of the media, maybe. And it's like you said, it's a small sample size. What really goes on is behind that building, and I think that's the important thing. But again, I can only judge from what I see. All right, the difference is, right. This is a question I keep coming back to. Who's to blame, I guess, for why? Because there's so many. Everybody has different people to blame. Some people say it's obviously the quarterbacks, Greer, McDaniel, his play calling, or it's so everything's fine when Tua comes back. The plays and routes are there. It'll get magically fixed. For Hill and Waddle to forget like how to play football almost, who do you blame for that? Who's to blame for this drastic? Like you shouldn't be a top 5 offense or number 1 offense to being like the worst offense in the league, right? I can understand if you go back to middle of the pack or whatever. Who do you think? In all seriousness, what would you put the blame on? Bobby, go first.
Well, I think everybody holds a little bit of blame. I think Greer probably should have addressed the QB2 spot a little more seriously, a little earlier. I know that Huntley, when he got cut the first time, when week 1, right after roster cuts, he had interest in coming home. The Dolphins should have had interest. They apparently was like one of the teams that wanted to trade for him. Yep. He ends up back in Baltimore. If you get Huntley back in here week 1, he would have had, 2 extra weeks, to prepare for this situation. Maybe that helps. But nonetheless, I mean, I think you need to take a serious swing at QB2 and have someone you can rely on in the building. You shouldn't be picking up a guy off the street when you need him. That's never going to work. Then when it comes to McDaniel, it's like I've said, I think I told you this last time I was here. I think he truly built a scheme that's like Tua's best. Like it's Tua's strengths. So no one's coming in the streets and going to be perfect in it because it's built for Tua. It's not built for Huntley. It's not built for Timble. So like it really is kind of one of those things. It's like, man, if Tua's not in there, it kind of looks like a different defense. And then as far as like the players go, I mean, it's a hard offense. Like I heard we interviewed a bunch of players this offseason. I think one thing they all said was how hard the offense is to learn. Tyreek said that it was huge for Tua to be going into year 3 in this system because he teaches them all and even lines them up like to this day. Like that he said that literally, quote, there'd be times where me and Waddle don't know what the hell we'd be doing. So like that's a thing. And like you think somebody off the street is going to come in. He was like saying how Kansas City, they have plays. They're like they've simplified it. It's like 1-2 word plays. Where Mike McDaniels is like 10. Yeah. And it's not something you come off the street and just pick up overnight. So, and I don't think the guys have forgot how to play football. I think Tyreek Hill is still Tyreek Hill. I think Jalen Waddle still Jalen Waddle. It's just like I watch some of those plays and it's like you got to be able to pull the trigger. Tua pulls the trigger quick and he's throwing places where you don't even see it happen. Like you got to believe Tyreek's going to be here. When you come up from that RPO and you look, you don't see it. You see a corner, a safety, and a linebacker, and a receiver's back. Yep. Tua rips it, and he knows where it's going to be and where the receiver's going to turn around. You can't teach that overnight. And that's a Tua strength, and that's just a scheme. It's not something that it's like goes against everything you're taught as a quarterback to turn your back to the defense, turn around and just throw the ball into a spot. So it's not easy. It's like yesterday. We ran that. Tyreek came in motion and ran a wheel route. Wide open, butt naked. Huntley seen it.
Hesitated.
hesitated, then like avoided a sack and threw it in the dirt. It's like Tua would have launched it.
Yep.
For better or worse, I'm not saying like Tua would have dropped it down, but Tua would have let the ball go.
Yeah.
But he knows that. He's got 3 years of that mental, that memory, that muscle memory. It's tough. It's tough to ask anybody to come off the street.
And obviously, I was joking about they forgot to play. I mean more that they're disappearing act, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But again, it comes back to McDaniel. He's got to know that that Huntley's not capable of seeing that. I mean, you have three games of film, right? He's got to know. You got to again some drop back concepts, easy concepts for him to hit. Like you got to scrap all that. He's not hitting it, bro. He's just not, Bobby. You see the film. That's again what I talked about on the top of the show is another issue that I have with him, because they're running the ball effectively. Through all this, they found the running game here, okay? And more Jalen Wright, please. More Jalen Wright. Because at times he looks like the best back on the team.
Yeah.
So I agree. Ken, do you have anything to add on that?
Nah, it's perfect, Bobby. Like exactly what you said. It's a mix of everything at the end of the day. Would it be different if we kept Mike White in instead of Skyler as QB2? Just things to consider. But I mean, Skyler just didn't look ready at the end of the day, so they got to address that backup role immediately, like expeditiously. They gotta address it. Yeah. And McDaniel at the end of the day also has to commit to the run, make it easier on them, probably shorten play calls. Like we said, the last show we were on, just like quick curls. Like especially how like Tua ran with that offensive B flow. Like short stuff, like an extension of the run game. Nothing, everything doesn't have to be a 20-yard, 30-yard completion. Things could be, condensed in a space, and it could be an extension of the run game. So, just small things like that, I think it would be, I'm surprised he didn't adjust during the stretch. And when he did adjust, it was already, unfortunately the players didn't come through for him, So, same thing, man. Just, it's a combination of everything, it's a combination of everything. And I genuinely hope he learns from it, man. At the end of the day, I hope this is an experience he learns from, because I truly believe in him and what he's trying to build. And I would just hate to see it come down, especially like, the electricity that he's brought with the offense. So, I mean, we'll see. It's definitely something he has to work on.
All right. I guess we'll wrap it up with this topic here. What's up to the Fins Talk Sports Network, friend of the show? What's up, boys? I guess we'll wrap it up with this. Tua's coming back versus the Cardinals. What do you expect? Do you expect us to see the same that we saw him, or do you see them making some adjustments, like maybe sticking with the run a little bit more? Kenny, we'll start with you. What do you expect now with Tua back and against the Cardinals?
So I mentioned it earlier in the show, like, is Tua going to be in midseason form yet? I personally don't expect him to be, 15 for 15 going into like the second quarter. I definitely expect him to miss some throws, kind of similar to what we saw with the Jags game, So I'm not setting my expectations high in the sense of he's going to be an MVP caliber player that first game back. But I definitely expect us to put up over 20 goddamn points this week. So, like, geez. But I definitely expect it to be better. We were talking about it as well. Is McDaniel going to commit to the run now that Tua's back? I feel like if we run the ball half as much as we did with the Colts, I feel like Tua could really, find those windows a lot easier, and that O-line could, not be under pressure, dropping back 40 times a game, 50 times a game. So I expect definitely to be better. I think I was also crushed with the Colts loss just because we have Buffalo second week with Tua coming back. And like we said, man, like until we beat them again, I have us losing. So, but hey, man, as soon as that game starts, we're 10-0, baby. We're going 10-0. So that's all I know. Like I know as soon as the refs kick off, we're going 10-0. So I have high hopes, but I know what my expectations are, and they're not as high as I feel like a lot of people have them now that he's back.
Bobby?
Yeah, I think you nailed it pretty good there. I think you got to expect, whether Tua was healthy or not, he said he's been throwing and working out nonstop during this whole process, so he shouldn't be rusty in a sense of like mechanically, but yeah, it's live bullets, it's different speed, it's like those dudes went through training camp every day and then didn't play in the preseason games, and it showed like it was rusty. And another thing I want to circle back to, because I didn't hear much y'all said earlier. One thing I did hear you say, George, you're gonna put some respect on my boy's name, Jonnu.
Yeah, man.
Listen, his best game before yesterday was week 2 with Tua against the Bills.
Oh yeah,
So that was already being seen. Yeah. Plus, they said the offensive coordinator said they spent the bye week trying to figure out how to get playmakers involved, especially Jonnu Smith. So I think that's another emphasis they're working on.
Yeah. Hopefully, go FIU, man. FIU, he's homegrown.
All right. Hold on. Let me rebuttal this, okay? First of all, I got nothing against Jonnu. All right, Jonnu wants to come on the show. Come on, bro. Number 2, I just think it's more of a kind of a result of the quarterback in the offense. And there's going to be – it's just he can't see it. The routes that Jonnu Smith's running are the kind of routes I want to see, like Tyreek and Waddle, when we talk about simplifying the quarterback concept. And I think he just is a tight end's the quarterback's best friend. I just think when Tua comes back, I think you're going to see less Jonnu, bro. I know you're saying they're working on it. My gut feeling is, he's going to see things. It's hard not to get the ball to Waddle and Hill. Hill, man. It's because it's open. You know what I mean? So I just think that, unfortunately, it's kind of the result of the bad, almost in a weird way, the bad quarterback play, and that he can't process and read the field quickly at the tight end. And not to mention, Bobby, the middle of the field is wide open, bro. Huh? I mean, you watch the film. They're shelling double coverage on Hill and Waddle, and the middle of the field is completely wide open. I don't know why Hundley doesn't take off and more like quarterback runs they should have designed for. But yeah, we'll see. What's the over under on Jonnu Smith's catches this Sunday?
Let me just add though. I guess I understand where you're coming from, George, but I just wish that they use them in the red zone more, man. I feel like there is where I feel like they should have a package for him down there, because I mean, he showed it this week, and and with Tua, I definitely expect some magic to happen with Jonnu, especially in the red zone. No more fades out with Reek. Come on, we got some size now. We got some size.
To be fair, like Jonnu wasn't getting a lot of play. Like he hasn't been getting a lot. So for you to say that we're going to see less than Jonnu, it's like, is he going to be benched? Because he was getting 1 reception a week.
Yeah,
not less of him. I just think the targets will be less.
Okay.
Not less of him.
He's getting 1 a week.
He might get 3 now.
Look, I think the over-under for Jonnu this Sunday is a strong 4.5.
Really? That's kind of high.
That's a good number. That's a good number.
Look, they're going to be running. I think they need to do. This is what they need to do, because I know everything, But anyways,
you do.
You do.
Run the ball. Stick to the run game. Let the game come back to Tua naturally. Run the ball. Let him use the run game to have some good, easy play action, in routes, whatnot. Get a rhythm going, and use Jonnu Smith, quarterback's best friend. Short. He's basically an extension of the run game. It's a lot of like backside, fake toss. They're running a screen over here with Jonnu, getting the ball in his hands, and he's a playmaker too, man. He makes some plays. He don't look like he's fast, but he's not getting catched. You know what I mean?
I liked him coming out of college. He was a 4.6 guy. I think he ran 4.6, something like that. He's athletic. I mean, he did look good. I guess we'll see. I mean, 4.5. That's a good number. I'll go under.
Yeah.
No. Actually, I think this game back, I think you're going to see him go, because I agree. Tua's not going to be. Dude, you got to expect some rust, right? Like, but all these things that you're saying, Bobby, weren't all these things that we thought they needed to do to be successful, and especially against the good teams, and they didn't do? So you think maybe this kind of injury to Tua and all this kind of talk actually helped McDaniel, right? Maybe realize some of these things.
Yeah, well, my thing that I've always said is I hope this ends up being a blessing, and I was hoping we'd use this period to develop a run game in Miami, build a culture. We've seen it. We've seen flashes of it. McDaniel literally said in his presser like 2 weeks ago that, they think they found their identity finally. So if all in all we come out of this, it wasn't beautiful. 1-3, it wasn't great. But if we come out of this and keep that same mentality, we're going to pound the ball, and then we're going to take advantage of our shots. We're not going to take as many. We're not going to try to throw it 40 times, but we are going to take advantage of our shots and take those shots. You have to respect them still. I think it can be beneficial. I mean, it's an uphill battle from here, and anybody saying different is out of their mind. Yeah, it's going to be an uphill battle, but I think that's our best way. If we're going to do it, we need to do it that way. And the defense is awesome. The defense has been damn. I don't even know what to say, honestly.
I was worried when Ogbo was out. I was like, man, what's our edge going to look like? And to be fair, man, like, it was pretty good. It was like pretty good, all things considered. I know they gave up the chunk plays, but it's pretty good.
The defense has been awesome. Yeah, the pass rush isn't really getting home. That's what we're paying the price. But he's getting creative with his linebackers and how he moves people around. And Jalen Ramsey blitzed like 5 times and had 4 pressures.
He's playing on an all-pro level, man.
Jalen Ramsey got disrespected on this fan base. The first 2 weeks, everybody was "Oh, you paid this guy, really?" Yeah. And now he's the only person showing up, man.
Man, he's underpaid if anything. Underpaid if anything.
Ramsey's awesome, man.
Especially now with the if this defense can play like this, I will sell. I know I don't like to get on the hope train and sell the hope, right? But there is a window here, right? There is a window. Yeah. Besides the Buffalo game, they have the Rams, Raiders, and who's the other one? The Patriots. Yeah. If the defense continues to play like this, and 2 of these same opportunities against those teams, I just think our flaws on this team that are still there get really shown against the really good teams. I think that's the problem. But you're not going to lose with Tua. You're not going to lose to the Colts. Well, they lost to the Titans last year, but you're probably not going to lose to the Titans. Like those kind of games, you get enough with the defense. Even though Chop, how's he? And I didn't even notice Chop out there. Only when I saw him get sealed block by Michael Pittman Jr., a wide receiver, on that Trey Sermon run. But he's still young. We'll give Chop. We'll give Chop his time. Hopefully, he's not another Noah Igbenogany. All right, I'm coming with the heat today, Bobby. I'm frustrated,
good.
Bro.
It's those kind of times.
All right. Any final thoughts, Kenny? You got any final thoughts?
Not 10-0. Being humble, 10-0 from this moment forward, and man. Like I think I have a little more faith in the team now, especially going into the Cardinals. Yeah, man. I remember the 1-7 Baltimore game. That was my birthday gift to myself before the season. And I remember going into that game because I go to every game. I'm like, man, I'm still gonna go no matter what. And the absolute joy I got from winning that game and to see the streak that we went on after that was something similar to what I expect now, especially with a better roster. So, if we made it happen then, we can make it happen now. But let's take it one game at a time, man. And I'm excited, man. At the end of the day, it's football season, maybe. Everybody's out here being miserable, man. It's football season, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's my thing. It's like I just want them to pull it together so we can still enjoy Sundays.
Yeah.
Because like Kenny kind of hinted at earlier, if you lose to the Cardinals, and then you're looking at the Bills, who, let's just be honest with our history, it's just like, man, we're heading into
it's rough.
It's Halloween, and we're like, so who we drafting? And boy, that's a fall, man. That's a fall because, dude, we went from the number 1 offense to averaging 11 points a game. And that's my last point. We don't need a miracle. We don't need the number 1 offense.
Nope.
If we're scoring, like, we only need okay play offense. Like, if we're scoring 20, I like us in most games.
We're good.
Like, that's simple as that. I don't need fireworks. I don't need constant deep bombs. I just need us to put 20 plus up and play complimentary football, and the defense keep doing what they're doing, and I think we can be all right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, look how the Chiefs are winning. The Chiefs. I mean, you look at Mahomes. He's Mahomes, right? He makes those clutch plays, but look at their defense, man. That's how they're winning football games. I mean, what is Mahomes' passer rating? I think he's somewhere in the middle of the league. So, I that's what gives me some hope on this season. All right, boys. Kenny, thank you so much for hopping on. Tell everybody where they can follow you.
At Magic City Dom on Twitter or on X, however you want to call it. But I'm out there and I support everybody here, especially you, Bobby, man. You know, fucking
No, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, staple in the community. So shout out, and George, thank you always for having me on.
You know that,
You
Bobby.
know,
Let him know what you. Yeah, Bobby, let him know what you got going on the dive bar. When you guys going live next?
The dive bar. We should have a show tomorrow, which is like our normal, just bro pod, just like therapy session.
Like we kind of already did here.
The one thing we have to do that because the chat loves it. Like the chat goes crazy with those pods, and we get to interact with them. It's hard to bring the chat up a lot when we have guests on because it's kind of disrespectful and it just kind of like messes up the flow. And we hate that because like we appreciate people showing up and talking and asking questions. And I'm looking at it the whole time like, man, I wish I could bring that one up. That's awesome. And man, I appreciate that, Kenny. You showing me love there. I try to bring it to Twitter every week and bring something, funny, serious, but be honest with everything. And man, it's Twitter. Twitter, I wouldn't give it up for the world. I love Twitter. And if I never started a podcast, I was happy as hell with Twitter. So
yeah, right.
But the podcast is awesome. The support has been crazy. It's been fun, and we've been lucky to get some guests on and be able to bring some different stuff that haven't been seen in the community. And we have some other cool stuff planned. We have a Halloween show coming up with a special guest. I can't really. The guy said not to tell who it is, but it's a good one. He's been in the NFL, so we have an NFL player coming in for Halloween. He has played Brown. He's played Aqua and Orange. Hey, funny enough, I talked to Antonio Brown. Hey,
the dive bar would bring on Antonio Brown, right?
Listen,
oh my God!
Absolutely, brother. We do not. We are for every look. The dive bar concept. Not to turn this into a dive bar episode. The dive bar concept. Here's how we came up with the name. We were like, we want a place where it looks like me, George, and Kenny got off work, came to your local dive bar. We're having a beer. What would we talk about? How would we talk? And that's exactly how we carry ourselves. That's exactly how we talk to Tyreek Hill or Kenny. So then we're like, what are we going to call it, though? And we're like, it's right in front of us. It's the dive bar. Like, that's the exact vibe we're going for. So, like, dude, I talked to AB, and I'm not going to get into the details. It was funny, and I don't know if AB is going to be on the dive bar or not, but I'm absolutely going to keep pursuing that, and that would be incredible.
That would be a hell of an
episode. When you said Halloween, I thought Antonio Brown. That's funny that you
dude. Antonio Brown could make any Saturday matinee episode epic.
Oh my gosh, that's content right there.
Yeah, no, it's a guy that's been in the Aqua and Orange before.
Okay.
So and then I recently had some negotiations with another person. I'm not going to say anything about that one because I'm not even telling the guys about it. I just want to I'm going to announce it, and they're going to see it just like everyone else does. And I just want to see their reaction because I think it's going to be incredible.
Yeah. We talked about that privately, man. It's a rush to try to get these guests, man. It's always it's hard.
The one we talked about, maybe at the end of this week. Maybe. Dude, it's so fun chasing people, but it's also like,
dude,
it's very fluid. When y'all see an episode, it's like a lot went into talking and waiting and talking and people have schedules.
Both of you know, like you can't, these people have jobs. Some people, the jobs they work for cover the Dolphins or whatever, and there's only a certain amount of time they can be available, and life happens. So it's like what I had Richmond, but Richmond, let me tell you something about Richmond, man. Class act, dude. The dude never stopped. He's like, bro, I'll give you my word. I'm coming on. Just give me a few weeks. He had a family issue, and that was a great episode, Rich, man. And I hope he gets in the hall. But I want to thank both of you guys because this is a cool show for me because you two guys are two of the guys from day one. I've got me out there, and it's how hard it is to build this thing. Like you mentioned to me on the last time, Bobby goes, bro, I don't know how you do it if you didn't have all the followers. And bro, it's a lot of work, and I respect everybody who does this because just try it yourself. Go in front of a camera, talk without going live, and you realize how difficult this is and kind of what comes with it. But thank you both for supporting the show from day one, man. I can't thank you guys enough, for real.
Yeah, fair, man.
Oh yeah, I try to show love to anybody that DMs me stuff, and I gas everybody. I just all day I try to read, and like I told George, we have a following, and we have 3 people, and 4 if you can count count producer Eric, and we have a lot of like reach and relationships and connections and stuff. And still, like, it hasn't been the easiest startup, and it hasn't been like, you know, the easiest thing. And I told George, I mean, it's amazing. What made me like George out the gate was he was consistent. And I don't know how many people were watching him. He had 30 followers or whatever he had. He was putting out an episode every week. Yeah. And he was sending it to me, and he was like, thank you for the support. Yeah, whatever, you know, whatever it is, thank you. And I'm like, dude, that's what I'm looking for right there. And I watched his very first episode he sent me, and I liked, you know, his vibe and how he, you know, what he was bringing. And I've been, you know, gassing him up ever since.
Yeah, man. Bro. It's you know, it's, you know, and it ain't easy, bro. But I will say the live is a little bit, the audio version one, like you hear it back, you're like, I don't like that, man. I'm gonna change some. This one, it's live, and it's almost it's harder to put together, but it's almost kind of a relief and easier to do. I don't know if you have ever done like your own audio one, but that kind of, I suggest starting, if anybody wants to do this, start on the audio version and get you going. You're talking by yourself, so it's difficult. But yo, you know, both you guys, I consider friends. I don't know if ex-friends or Twitter friends, but I consider you guys friends, not only friends of the program. So thanks, guys. We got 2 Monday night games on tonight, right? Once the other one start already.
I can start 15 minutes.
We got to scout the Cardinals. We got to pre-scout the Cardinals. Boy, they got a short
week, and they got to travel.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's going to be tough. All right, guys. Please, if you liked the video, hit the little bell, subscribe, whatever that's called. If you like the content we bring, I thank you guys so much. All right, guys. As always, stay Fins faithful. We out, boys.
Shout out.